Hey guys, I'm Papa Pete, back with another review of an Atari 2600 game that I used to play when I was a kid. And today's review is one of the all-time classic arcade ports, Missile Command, for the Atari 2600. Sit back guys, get ready, let's take a look at Missile Command.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
I'm going out to inspect the troops.
Yes, sir.
Regular change today, General?
This is Atari Missile Command. Millions of people are mad for it in thousands of game centers across the country.
Interplanetary war is heck.
Attention all generals. Now you can get your own Atari Missile Command video game and practice saving the world in the privacy of your home. Missile Command, only from Atari.
Missile Command was an arcade game brought in during the golden age of video games back in 1980. Now that era started with Space Invaders and right up in through pretty much to the crash of console games when arcades really started to diminish. Now the original arcade game was created by Dave Thurer back in 1980. This particular game was very interesting in the fact that it was a different type of control scheme. It was a ballistic defense game where you had 6 cities and 3 missile bases, and you had to fire with individual buttons for each missile base, and you use a trackball to move your crosshairs around to blow up the incoming and splitting ballistic missiles, as well as other types of targets that would enter the screen. It really went over very well. It was a very popular game, simple graphics, it made very good use of the trackball, and it was extremely popular in arcades, selling over 20,000 units and being one of the top selling arcade games of the golden age period. A very interesting note is Dave Thurer, when he was making the game, the 6 cities were replicated. They were thought to be 6 different cities in California, San Francisco, Eureka, various other cities. And frankly, Dave Thurer would have nightmares about nuclear war while he was making this game.
I have nightmares about nuclear attacks. You know, in my dream I'd see a white streak going across the sky just like in Missile Command.
When Atari decided to port Missile Command over to the Atari 2600, it was really quite a challenge. There were a lot of things to overcome, most notably the control scheme. The task fell upon Rob Fulop. You might remember Rob Fulop. I've done reviews of some of his games before. He was involved, one of the creators of Demon Attack for Magic back after he formed that company, a little bit after he made Missile Command. Really acclaimed video game creator. Anyway, Rob took the game and he had to make a lot of changes to try to make it work. It's quite a change from 3 buttons, 3 missile bases, 6 cities, and a trackball to a joystick with 1 button. But somehow Rob made it work. He found a way to take all of the missiles, put them in 1 base, and then use the joystick to control the crosshairs on the screen to shoot at the incoming ballistic missiles. One of the things that Missile Command, the arcade game, was most known for was when at the end, once you lost all your cities, a big blow up flashing the end screen come on, and it was really something to see. It was kind of intimidating. I can remember back in the day that what a way to end the game, flashing red and white right in your face. This seemed a little intense. Like I said, Thurer even had nightmares while he was making the game, so it was kind of intense for the kids that this was aimed at, for the Atari 2600 at home. So they took the story, Fulop changed the story and made it aliens from the planet Krytol attacking the peaceful planet of Zardon. And at Zardon, you're a Zardonian and you're defending your cities. The gameplay for Missile Command, even though the control scheme was so different, Rob Fulop did a very good job of actually making it feel like the original arcade game. You still control that crosshair, even though it wasn't wailing on the trackball, and I can remember those days playing that game in the arcade and hitting that trackball hard trying to get that crosshair across the screen. And it was just a different feel, but still the same result when you use the joystick to move it around. The incoming ballistic missiles also were very similar, although the restrictions of the Atari, the limitations of the Atari 2600 kept it from being quite as elaborate. For example, they didn't split quite as much, and there also weren't other targets like satellites and planes and such, although there were individual little smart bombs that come in, they did retain those over to the Atari 2600 game. The main thing to do in the game is move your crosshair around. You had a limited number of 30 missiles and try to intercept all the ballistic missiles, saving your city. At the end of each round, you got points for the missiles that you hadn't shot, as well as the cities that were still remaining. At the start of each round, your missiles replenished in the center, but your cities didn't. But you did gain a city back for every 10,000 points that you scored. Graphically, the Atari 2600 version of Missile Command actually resembles the original arcade game quite a bit. Yes, they had to pare down some of the features due to the limitations of the system. For example, you could only have one missile base. That might have been a limitation less of the graphics as it was just the control scheme with only one button. You also had other elements that were taken out. For example, the planes that flew by, the satellites, other features such as that. The end screen wasn't the same. It did have the end at the end. But at the end of the day, were those less graphical problems, or was it just a straight memory issue with the Atari 2600? All in all, the graphics for Missile Command are very, very good and do a faithful representation of the arcade game. The sounds in the Atari 2600 version of Missile Command are also very good. They replicate very well the arcade sounds. The sound of the missile going up is excellent. The sound of the bombs going off when a city blows up has a nice resonance to it. And really the different sounds are unique enough that you really can tell each individual thing as it happens. That actually means quite a bit because yes, you're watching the screen all over, but at the same time you're getting different cues from different sounds, and if they're too similar, you don't get that same cue that you do when you're playing a game with very distinct sounds for different actions. Also, the end of the game, when you finally do lose, they didn't have the end screen that comes up, but they did have a rolling explosion at the end that really signifies that you were all done. And it was very, very well done. The scoring in the Atari 2600 version of Missile Command is really pretty simple. You have a base amount for each of the items on screen or each of the things you save, plus you have a multiplier depending on the level you're on. Very simply put, every ballistic missile that's coming in is worth 25 points. Every cruise missile that's coming in, I call them smart bombs, they're actually called cruise missiles, they're worth 125 points. At the end of the wave, whatever missiles you have left, they're worth 5 points each, and each city that remains is worth 100. As for the multipliers, it's very, very simple. Waves 1 and 2, you get 1 time the points. Waves 3 and 4, you get double the points. Waves 5 and 6, triple. 7 and 8, quadruple. 9 and 10, you get 5 times the points until finally you reach stage 11, and from stage 11 on, you get 6 times the points. As for variations on the game characters, there's 34 different games on the Missile Command cart, and basically 17 of them are one-player, 17 of them are two-player, first of all. And the other factors that change are the speed that your cursor moves around the screen from one point to another, as well as how the different smart bombs behave when they're coming in, how the cruise missiles behave, whether they're smart or whether they just come straight. And finally, the other thing is what stage you actually start on, 1 through right up to 15. Like many of the other Atari 2600 games back in that era, there is a special version on there just for small children, and it had very, very slow missiles, and frankly you shot slow missiles as well, which didn't really make it easier, but that was what they did. Overall gameplay was a lot slower and meant for very young children. So let's check out Missile Command. Alright, in this game, I'm just going to play game number 1, one player. It's a standard game. It starts off pretty manageable. Boy, that cursor really feels fluid, though, with the joystick. It's amazing the job that Rob Fulop did making it just feel right. It almost feels like a trackball, you know. I don't know, it doesn't really, but... Oh, here we go. A couple more. They tend to come in waves like that, just like 3 at a time, sometimes more as the game goes on, different waves. And there, we cleared that one out. 195 points plus 100 for each city. That means I took 11 shots that time, so I saved 30. That's the name of the game. Like, see right there? The name of the game is trying to save as many of your missiles as you can, because later on, that becomes a real issue. You saw there where I started, there was 2 coming down real close together. I managed to get them with 1 missile. Here we go. Do the same thing here. Am I going to? Oh, didn't quite, but that's all right. I got lots in these early levels. You don't really score any bonus points. You still just get points for each one that blows up. But still, okay, here a screen every 2 waves. It's a different multiplier, and the screen color changes. So now I'm getting double the points for each one. Here, what? There we go. And I got both of them with that 1. Again, I got points just there. Same thing. Just for 2, but it just saves my missiles. So I guess I do gain points because I have points for the missiles that I don't shoot at the end that I get the bonus points for. Now, the ICBMs that are coming into your cities, some of them are going to hit the cities, some of them aren't. Now, right now, I'm just trying to hit and take out everything. But there'll be some times later on when I decide, oh, they're coming quicker now, just that much quicker. That, what, level 4 I think I'm on now. Oh, okay. Look at the little squares down in the far left-hand side of the screen. What they are is they're telling you how many sets of missiles you have left. So right now there's 2 sets of missiles left. There's 2 squares, but I'm going to fire 1 right here, and it took away another 10 missiles. I filled up, and I still have 1 in reserve. So it's a good way to know exactly how many missiles you have. Like, look at that ICBM. It was going towards nothing, so I didn't even bother to shoot it because I was too busy trying to get the ones that were going to hit my cities on the right. Okay, we're going pretty good. I've still got 6 cities. Haven't lost the end. I'm almost to 10,000 points. So at 10,000... Oh, we got both those. At 10,000 points, there's the first smart bomb coming in. The cruise missile is called. Save that one. That was going right for my target. Now, if it hits... If one of the missiles comes in and actually hits your missile base, what it does is it destroys the missiles that you have in the base at the time. If you have any more in reserve, it'll open up a new... Ow! There goes the first city. I just couldn't get it all around it. It'll only take away... Oh, see that sound right there? That is me getting a new city. I was over 10,000 points. I had lost a city. Focus on this here. They're coming down. They're going to hit all 3, so I got to get those guys. Ah, that little blip blip. I'm trying to fire too many ones there. That one right there was missing everything. Holy cow, this is like hectic now. Oh, I'm going to lose another one. Oh, get that last one. Okay, here we go. Going for it. That's going for... Oh, I'm going to lose 2 more cities. I'm down to 2 cities. At least they're close together. It's hard when they get far apart to save them all. It's easier when they're right close like this. Even to the missile base, too, is a little bit easier. Whoa, wrong one. Oh, down to 1. I just got to protect that 1 city and protect my missile base. Oh, here comes the smart bombs. Oh, we'll get rid of those. Okay. So I got to get to 20,000 before I get another city. So really, I'm just going to protect right now that city and my missile base. Because like I said before, if I only have 1 missile in the missile base at the time when it hits it, I lose that 1. It goes to the next wave of 10. But oh, I'm going to get a city. Usually it puts it way far away. Where's it going to put it? Ah, it did too. That makes it harder when it puts it way far away like that. Because I gotta get back and forth, and I'm gonna lose both. Oh, I managed to save that one, but I lost 1 again. Am I gonna get to 30,000? I don't know. They're really flying now. That cruise missile's not going anywhere. Oh, okay, here, those are coming. Those are coming. I got 2 with 1 in the missile base. I'll just let those hit over there. And get the points. Get the points for it. Alright. Here we go. 25. Oh, that's a nice shaded green. Okay, hardly see my city. Wow. This is getting hectic. Okay, I haven't... oh! I gotta get to 30,000 or the game's over. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. I don't know. Mercy. No, there's no way. We'll get some points here by hitting these. Oh, a couple more maybe? Shoot a couple more. Oh. Is that it? Not quite 30,000, so I didn't get a bonus city. That is it. You know, I really like this game. It's so much fun. It's hectic. It's fairly quick. and you just want to try to get a little bit further every time. As I mentioned at the opening, I can remember playing Missile Command in the arcade. It actually was in the arcade of all places. I played it in a hotel lobby back in about, well, it was 1980 when it first came out, and it was over in Calais, Maine. I used to go over there. I think I was 11 years old or something. Go into this hotel and you could play Missile Command. It was amazing. At that time, it was one of the most amazing games I'd ever seen. So I still remember getting Missile Command for my Atari 2600 a couple years later. And even though it wasn't exactly the same, it was still a strong enough game that I really, really enjoyed playing it, and I didn't feel let down because it wasn't the same as the original arcade version. Overall, this has a great place. It's a great port. It's a great place in anybody's collection. And frankly, with it having good graphics, good sound, fun gameplay, I have to give Missile Command for the Atari 2600 a great rating. Well guys, that's it for my review of Missile Command. Oh, and not only do I have the Atari version, I've also got the Sears Telegames version. Right on, I love that game. I love all the Sears versions. Anyway, don't forget to check out Console Purists. Want to mention that too. It's a great Facebook group for anybody who's into console gaming, whether it's old games like I love or the new games of today. Check it out. There's over 17,000 people there just love discussing and talking about video games. Anyway guys, don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time when I review some more games from my youth. Take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up.
Hey, it's your girl JLove81, and you're watching Papa Pete, the Old Guy Gamer.
What the hell?